What if you were just one tiny tweak away from finally putting your brain on chill mode? That's what today's episode is all about.
Life is beautiful.
The Theo Bros Podcast.
Yo, how we doing? I am Mike Theo.
I am Nick Theo.
And you are listening to the Theo Bros Podcast.
You can count on daily wisdom to get your mind right. So, Mike, in the 1920s, a Soviet psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik was sitting in a cafe in Vienna when she noticed something strange. The waiters could remember every unpaid order in the restaurant, who had what, how much they had, and even tiny details until the bill was paid. But once a customer settled the check, the memory vanished. So she turned that observation into a formal experiment at the University of Berlin. So Zeigarnik gave participants a series of
butcher literally every name on this
podcast. Gave participants a series of simple tasks, things like puzzles, math problems, folding paper, etc. She intentionally interrupted some of the tasks before they could finish them. Later, when she tested their memory, people remember the unfinished tasks twice as well as the ones they had completed. This finding of the experiment were later coined the Zeigarnik Effect. Basically, the brain holds unfinished business. It keeps those tasks open in working memory, creating a mild state of tension or discomfort until they're completed or consciously closed. Better name for this? The puzzle effect.
Yeah, I came up with the puzzle effect because I knew that you were going to butcher the Zeigarnik effect. Oh, man. Yeah, so basically, our brain hates having a million tabs open, and it wants to close them. It doesn't like the unfinished business. And, oh, man, if this doesn't describe my brain, I don't know what does. I am obsessed with checking boxes and with completing the things on my to-do list, and me and my wife are both like that. So it's actually it's great in the sense that we get shit done, but it's also not great in the sense that it produces a massive amount of anxiety at times because we hate when things are not done. And guess what? Things are never completely done in life. There's always more to do.
Yeah, you're the type of person that doesn't go to the bathroom because you have to check a couple boxes before you're able to actually attend to your emergency.
Yeah, I'm the type of person who right now there are boxes of furniture that need to be built sitting in my apartment. And it's driving me insane that I have not had the time to actually just build them and complete them.
Yeah, but that's great and all, but let's actually get back to the point of this study. What is the point of this study? It doesn't have to do with the fact that those things are unfinished. The main idea from this thing is that
Siri wants to get involved.
The main idea is that those unfinished things actually lead to greater memory.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
so. How do we use that information for good?
Well, I think yes, it leads to greater memory. I think more so, though, for me, what this study does is it brings an awareness to this idea that our brain prioritizes things that are undone.
Okay.
And that awareness alone is helpful for a person like me because it helps me to make sense of the anxiety that I feel when there are so many things left undone. It's reframing. It helps me to reframe the way that my brain is working.
How so?
So the reason your brain does this is because it wants to bring to your attention unfinished business that it thinks is important, right? And so by having that awareness and that realization, you can work with your brain in a more objective way and say, okay, I understand that I have these unfinished things and I understand you want me to prioritize them. And I will get to them, right? It's okay. It's changing your relationship with this, with this unfinished business, because the reality is there will always be unfinished business.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I think of it from the positive perspective of something that we've always done is when you get to the end of the workday, rather than just trying to run through the finish line and complete this task, sometimes it's better to leave that thing that you're writing undone. And then when you come in the next day, on a fresh mind, attack that thing. Because then as you go to sleep that night, you're like thinking about solutions in your subconscious to solve that problem. And and by the way, this whole effect actually is the precursor to like where cliffhangers come from in shows. The reason they have that like coming up next, or right, like in The Amazing Race, we always saw like they cut right before the commercial on something like, oh my gosh,
suspenseful.
Yeah, because it makes you remember and then come back again.
Yeah. I love what you're saying about being okay with having things undone and using this effect to your advantage. And I think the practical thing that you just mentioned that we started, I forget where we learned this years ago. I think it was from Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
Where there's a really powerful spiritual practice to leaving things undone. Like there have been times where the end of the day is coming and we have this big thing that we need to finish, whether it's like the other day we needed to write our story, like the Theo Bros story. We wanted to really tighten it up and be able to tell it really well. And we were working on it and like banging our heads against the wall. And we were like putting this pressure on ourselves to get it done because this is what we said we needed to do. And it would be so satisfying if we just got it done. And then we just said to ourselves, what if we just leave it undone? Like what's going to happen then? And we left it undone. We took the pressure off. We went home being okay with that decision. The next day on a fresh mind with no pressure, we finished it. And it felt a lot better and satisfying. And
didn't you feel though that like when you went home and like for me, like when I'm in the shower, I'll like start thinking about ideas and stuff without even like consciously thinking about it.
Yeah.
Ideas will pop into my head that like solve problems that I was facing earlier in the day.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think leaving things undone, being okay with having things undone is a huge piece of this episode. I think another framework you can use is the one that we brought up in a previous episode, which is the triple D framework. Dump all that stuff that's undone so you can get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Then decide either what you're going to do now or when you're going to do it in the future, and then take action on the top priority, the most urgent thing on that list.
Yeah.
That way you have more control. Like you basically are fabricating control over those unfinished business.
Yeah. I think it's a balance, right? Because you don't want to have too many things unfinished.
Right.
Because if you do, then
you get
your brain is like a browser, and then every unfinished task is an open tab. And what happens when you have a million tabs open on your computer? It slows you down.
Yeah.
So it's being okay with having some tabs open when you go home for the night, but not having a million tabs.
100%.
And sometimes closure means letting things go, not finishing them. That means just hitting X on that tab because you know what? You think you might need it, but you might not need it for like months down the line.
I also think another lesson here is stop starting new shit. Like, I have these pieces of furniture in my apartment at home, right? I'm not ordering more and more furniture until I finish building this first set of furniture. Because if, like you said, if I order more furniture right now and have even more boxes, now I have even more tabs open that I didn't need to do. So stop starting new projects and complete the project that's already there. And this leads to the call to action for today's episode. Yes, you need to change your relationship to leaving things undone if you want to be happy and be at peace with the Zeigarnik effect or the puzzle effect. But a lot of times what we've found is there's that one unfinished thing that's been on your to-do list for a long time, and it's like a pebble in your shoe. It's such a tiny little thing, but when you walk on that pebble long enough, it starts to really be a pain in your ass. So get rid of that pebble in your shoe. Take the 10 minutes out of your day and attack that one little thing. For me, it's usually a customer service call. Like literally every time. It's like, I know I need to make this call to Easy Pass. Like I just moved, so I need to change my Easy Pass address. For those who don't live in New York, it's like the tolls.
Yeah.
I need to call them up. And I've been putting that off. And it's like the pebble in my shoe that's like secretly draining my energy.
Same.
Go and complete that freaking task. Yeah. That is your challenge and call to action for today to help you to minimize the cognitive load. Go and take out the pebble in your shoe, whatever that little thing is for you. We all have one. Yeah. And it's usually a customer service call.
All right. Let's conclude there. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you.
Peace.
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end.
If you're new here, we share daily mindset motivation in 10 minutes or less.
So if that's your vibe, hit subscribe or check out another episode right here.